Steve, how you doing?
I am well. How are you, Raj?
Welcome back to the studio. We're going to do some fun stuff today. We're going to talk about understanding life. And the premise here, this is an old parable that I basically retold. Let's hear about Mr. Chan, if you don't mind, starting from the top, understanding life.
Well, I don't understand life yet, so this will be really good for me.
Very good. We'll figure it out together.
Many people who have experienced being arrested, a tragedy, ending up in a treatment center, or discovering that they are addicts feel that what they've gone through is horrible and catastrophic. They often believe that they are unfortunate and unlucky. This view is not completely accurate. In fact, it should be considered narrow-minded and sophomoric.
Sophomoric, I love that word. Awesome.
Great word.
Yeah, unsophisticated. Now, there was a famous story about a person that was interested in the meaning of life, okay? And so he climbed at the very top of this mountain. He saw this guru. And the guru was at the top, and he says to the guru, hey, I heard that if I climb all the way to the top of this mountain, I get to ask you one question. And so the guru tells him, you got to choose very, very wisely because you only get one question. So he goes, I know what I want to ask. What's the meaning of life? And the guru says, that answer is too easy. Ask me a more difficult question. And so he says, no, I want to know what the meaning of life is. And so the guru smiles at him and he says to him, he goes, the meaning of life is that we're born, we try to make ourselves relevant, and then we die. Go back down this mountain and try to make yourself relevant.
Relevant.
Yeah.
That's the last word that I thought he'd say.
Right?
Yeah, so it's interesting.
All right, let's do it.
Now I'm interested.
All right.
Okay. A wise Buddhist man named Mr. Chan
There you go.
lived in ancient China. He was highly respected and considered the most intelligent man in the province. One day, a poor family arranged a small party to celebrate their son's 18th birthday. The family had saved for years and bought him the finest horse in the village.
Sounds good so far.
Good horse. All the villagers cheered and gathered around the young man as he rode his horse through town. Then the villagers noticed that Mr. Chan was not cheering. He looked sullen and was very quiet. A villager asked Mr. Chan, why are you not cheering and happy? This young man is a beautiful new horse. This is clearly a cause for celebration.
Agreed.
Agreed. Mr. Chan looked up and said, we shall see.
That's deep. Please continue.
Several days later, the young man was thrown from the horse and severely broke his leg. The villagers gathered at the young man's horse and brought food and offered their prayers. Many of the women cried together and they were worried he may never walk again. They noticed Mr. Chan. He looked untroubled and was quiet. A villager asked Mr. Chan, why are you not upset and troubled by what has happened? This young man clearly cannot walk. He is badly injured. This is clearly a bad thing. Mr. Chan looked up and said, we shall see.
Interesting.
Several weeks later, the emperor declared war on the Mongol invaders. He had soldiers go into every village to conscript the young men into military service. Families cried as the healthy young men went off to war. The village lost every young man except the one with the broken leg.
Oh boy.
He was spared and stayed home with his family. Within a year, all the men who had left the village had been killed. At the end of the year, the young man with the broken leg was now healed and able to walk. In addition, he became chief of the village.
Now that's amazing. Please
Yeah.
continue.
At the ceremony appointing the young man chief, the villagers looked intently at Mr. Chan. One elderly woman said, the young man has been spared. What appeared to be a bad thing is now actually a good thing. Mr. Chan looked up expressionless and said, we shall see.
So this is powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that clients that come to see me, they got their first DUI and they got a face full of tears. Oh my God, I got a DUI. My life is ruined. My life is ruined. I'm like, but wait a second. Okay, let's say you were not pulled over at that very moment. You blew like a .15, a .16. So you're like really, really super duper drunk, right? And if you had kept driving another mile, who knows if you would have killed somebody. And by the way, do you think after this DUI experience, you won't drink and drive again? And most of them will say, I won't do it again. So the very fact you won't do this again will stop you from killing somebody. That could be a wonderful prevention.
There's also layers that I've always noticed, like with my addiction and other people's addictions, that the focus is on the DUI.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on the consequence, not the symptom of the consequence.
That's also powerful.
Well, isn't that what you just explained?
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely.
It's interesting.
How about the text box?
Okay, and this I agree with.
Okay.
The truth is, you have no idea what an arrest has prevented you from doing or experiencing. You have no idea what types of consequences are being avoided while you're in treatment. Very often, what seems to be bad for you is meant to be good for you. Wisdom allows you to stand back and wait for time to do its job.
I like that.
Me too. Please try to be more sophisticated in how you view the trials and tribulations of life. Very often things do happen for a reason.
Okay, and the very last part there.
You don't know what suffering is being averted by your current hardship, and we don't.
Yeah. Let's go to a time machine back to Eastwood Clinic a few years ago, right? So I'm doing a group over there. There's a guy in there, he's sentenced there from drug court. He doesn't want to be there. He's got his grumpy pants on. He's very, very upset. And so his friends call him from the hood and they go, dude, we got this new Mexican connection. We got Mexican mud, this awesome heroin. It is so fucking good. And so dude's in the group and he's like really sad. I go, why are you so sad, dude? He's like, man, my friends are out there having a great time. They got the best dope right now. I'm sitting here at Eastwood Clinic and it really sucks. I'm like, yeah, you know, that's just the breaks. But I mean, I don't know how this is gonna play out. The next day in group, he shows up, he's got his notes out, he's got a pen out, and he's very attentive. So I'm thinking, this is a huge change in attitude. So I go, hey, if you don't mind me asking in front of the group, what happened? He begins to tear up. He goes, my friend's mom called me this morning. I go, what do you mean? He goes, my friend that was bragging about the dope, he's dead. I'm like, wow. And he goes, and I would have been out there with them, I'd be dead too. So all of a sudden I have a different attitude about this whole thing. Maybe I should be in here. So what appears to be a bad thing can be a good thing. Gets even deeper. One of my clients went to a birthday party for a Chaldean kid from a very wealthy family. On his 18th birthday, he was given a Lamborghini car. And everyone gathered around and said, this is amazing, this is so great. A Lamborghini car for an 18-year-old, right? And I would have been like Mr. Chan sitting back there going, I'm not really feeling this whole Lamborghini.
And I would have been
at
behind
18,
Mr. Chan, like, I'm not feeling this.
And so I would have ruined the party because Raj, why are you making those faces? Everybody's happy. You're ruining the vibe in this place. And truth be told, 6 months later, he was drag racing in the Lamborghini and he was killed. So life's complicated. What appears to be a bad thing can be a good thing. What appears to be a good thing can be a bad thing. But we have to be sophisticated in how we view the trials and tribulations. And thanks for reading.